Hey Boo Buddies, and welcome to my Ghoulentine's Day video. I'm putting together a simple craft kit for every ghoul to have for their Ghoulentine's Day. So I'm starting with my cutters. I have paper scissors, fabric scissors, an X-Acto knife or a box cutter, some masking tape, and either some liquid or a glue stick. I really prefer a glue stick, but sometimes liquid is best. Want is a good pencil and eraser, a marker of some kind, maybe a piece of chalk, and then some craft needles are a good handy thing. Now I'm going to show you this year's Ghoulentine's Day craft using my kit. I'm starting with a manila envelope and some cookie cutters that I had, and these are just things I had around the house, and I'm using my pencil to outline the shapes, and then I will use my paper scissors to cut out the shapes, making my stencils. And I went with a pumpkin and a gingerbread man who will not be a gingerbread man for long. Once I've got the shapes cut out, I will switch to some fabric and my fabric scissors. And it's important to not use your fabric scissors on paper and vice versa. You can use your marker or the chalk if you have it. I prefer chalk on fabric because it's easy to rub it out. And then I'm cutting out my shapes and making sure that every time I cut out the outline of my shapes, I'm cutting both sides. Once that, I'm going to split what I decide is the top shape, and I'm going to decorate it. You can do this with more felt and glue or buttons or just whatever you have, but I'm going to use my marker because it's in my craft kit, and then you don't have to worry about other supplies. I came up with the idea for Ghoulentine's Day as a spoof on Galentine's Day from Parks and Rec as a way to just have some creative energy with your ghoul friends, and remember that the best Halloween is always homemade, and just do some basic crafts that don't add clutter to your house but also help you save a little money and get in the spirit. I've got some black embroidery thread, which I like to split down, and when I have trouble getting it threaded through the needle, just take a little bit of your glue stick, tack it down, and then cut off the sticky, and no more problem. Remember to put a knot in the end, yes, and then when I make the first stitch, I'm going to only go through the top side, so the knot is on the inside of the pouch. There we go. I believe this is called a blanket stitch that I'm doing, where you wrap around and you always repeat going back through the same side, and then as you pull the loop taut, you go back through the loop and pull it taut so you get that stitch that goes on the outside. The point of putting together your craft kit, if you're not already a crafty person or you're just getting started and wanting to not store buy all your decorations, then with these basic products you're already set and you don't have to share or say who's got the scissors and who's got the right scissors, and that's really handy to have when you are crafting with your ghouls. And then as you start making more crafts, you figure out which ones you like and which ones you don't, and you might not, and then you haven't invested in the wrong supplies and the wrong products to have laying around, and you just have some basic tools, and that's pretty doable. What I did next is I got one of those toe foot sock things that they have at shoe stores for you to put on your feet if you don't have socks, and I just grabbed a handful of them, they don't care, and I filled it with dried lavender, but you could also do dried catnip, or you could skip this and just do stuffing. But I filled it and then I stitched it down with a sewing machine, or you can hand stitch it with a different needle, and then I'm shoving it in, and that's why I only did just about 2/3. Now I'm stitching the rest of the seam up, and it takes a little bit of adjusting and moving and making sure, because it's leaves and whatnot. And then in the top, I've got some fluff stuffing that you get at any sewing store, same place you get your thread and your felt, and just a little wad, and I'm going to hold it with one hand and stitch it in the rest of the way. When I did this one, I ended up finishing it off with a knot that I am paranoid and I go back over several times. And then later I learned a new technique that felt stitchers use, where they make the knot and then they drive the needle all the way through and pull and then cut the thread on the other side, so the leftover thread hangs out inside of the sash. And that's pretty neat, and I wish I had known that when I filmed this, but I didn't, and that's how you learn. And that is my Ghoulentine's Day craft this year that I'll be doing with my ghouls. I hope this inspires you to make some Halloween decorations and memories at home and not worry about spending a whole lot of money. This year more than ever, the best Halloween is made at home. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, Pooh Buddies!